Now let's move on to the transfer portal. You touched on it to a certain extent. Where do we stand in regards to? I've been surveying that thing, and I did not jot down Nebraska's names that are currently in the portal, whether they are receiving transfers or losing transfers, but just about every team in the nation's in that 8 to 12 range. A lot of guys in the portal. It's over 600 nationally. Where does Nebraska stand?
Before I go there are a couple of names that I did forget to mention there, and those are Nebraska's two safeties, Deontay Williams and Markel Dismuke. We're still waiting on what they're going to do too. So those are two other names to keep your eye on there as far as guys' futures here at Nebraska. But yeah, with the transfer portal right now, guys that have put their names in here from Lincoln, kind of what I just mentioned are guys that really aren't considered to be in the mix moving forward. So you're seeing a lot of some of these younger guys that haven't seen any playing time. The latest one would be a reserve offensive lineman, Matthew Anderson. Yesterday, I believe he put his name into the transfer portal. And you see other names, a lot of offensive linemen, like a Bo Wilson. I think he wants to get somewhere where he's more of a factor on that offensive line. So you're seeing some other lower end backup type guys. With some of these names, like one of the big one, like Cam Taylor-Britt announcing that he's going to come back for another year here at Nebraska. That leaves a cornerback spot open, and some of these young guys here are going to get some more shots coming up next year. So, that kind of leads us into what our needs look like in the transfer portal. And I think number one, you've got to look, and it kind of goes with what we were talking with. We want to know what Dedrick Mills is going to do. So that means the running back position, I think, is first and foremost the kind of need that you're looking at. And you're looking at a guy you want to get somebody like a Dedrick Mills, somebody that you can put in there and carry the ball for 20 times a game and be that workhorse guy, because right now that running back room is unproven with a lot of young guys that we really haven't had a chance to see, on a highlighted type of a basis that, Nebraska just hasn't been able to utilize that running back spot in their offense, what they've been trying to do. And, I think that's something that we'll probably talk about here about what kind of offensive changes that need to be made. But, you're looking at a running back first and foremost. I'm not sure what's out there that kind of fits that mold. I haven't really looked at it very closely myself as far as, a Power 5 guy that's leaving or a JUCO guy. JUCO is kind of a question mark right now since they haven't had a chance to play for a year yet right now. So running back, number one. Wide receiver, I think, is number two. I think you're looking for a guy that, somebody that can come in here that's played a lot of football somewhere else. It doesn't really matter at what level, but somebody that, has played a lot of football and has a lot of experience and can come in right away and make a difference. Because it's kind of the same vote that we just talked about at the running back position. At the wide receiver positions, it's another unknown spot right now on this Nebraska offense. You bring in a lot of talented guys, but then you don't see them on the field very much. It seems like the only thing that Nebraska can trust at the moment is upperclassmen that kind of know what the scheme is and stuff. So you need to get some guys in here that can step in and show some young guys a little bit of leadership and kind of teach them the way to go to succeed. And then after that position, I think you're looking at some more interior offensive line help. You've got a center that's a young guy, but then you've got that guard position where you're losing a lot a lot of guys that have been playing for you for several years, like I mentioned, to Bo Wilson, Matt Farniok. So I think you're pretty good. You're set at the tackle position, so you're looking at some more help at that interior spot. They do have some talented guys coming into the program that we've talked about before. A guy that I love, Henry Lutowski, that I think can step in there in that interior offensive line spot. And then moving forward, you're looking at the secondary. There's always going to be needs there. I mentioned you lose DiCaprio Boodle, so you might be looking at at that corner spot. And as I mentioned, we're still kind of waiting on those safety positions too, with a pair of safeties that have played a lot of football here at Nebraska. So those spots, and then pass rusher. Obviously, I mean, who doesn't need a guy that can come in and give you 6 sacks a season or so? So you're always looking for that. And then finally, I think the punter positions is something that you have to look at too. That's been a revolving door the last few seasons, along with the kicker spot. They just signed a kicker recently here, so it's hard to say. We haven't had much stability on those special teams, which is a big need or going forward to help out this ball club. So that's what I'm looking at position wise. The biggest needs that you're looking at right now, with what you've signed in the class and what you have moving forward right now.
Going back to the running backs, some of the names that catch my eye that I've seen who are pretty prominent players. Ty Chandler had a really good start to his career at Tennessee. He was a 4-star. He's looking for a home. TJ Pledger has been a productive player at Oklahoma. Even
a guy with a lot of Nebraska ties.
Okay. 4-star there. Chris Curry at LSU hasn't done a whole lot at the collegiate level, but he was highly sought after coming out of high school. Nakia Watson, Wisconsin back right there in the same division. Good player. Christian Turner at Michigan as well. Some of the guys that I see there. Jameer Smith at Notre Dame. He was a good player and was highly sought after coming out of high school as well.
Yeah,
players out there, that's for sure.
That's a talented group, and a lot of guys that I saw, at some camps and stuff when they were high school guys. One of those names that sticks out, like I was mentioning, TJ Pledger was highly recruited by Mike Riley here at Nebraska. Visited here several times. Was here for a Nebraska Friday Night Lights camp. Was in that group with a bunch of guys. One of his teammates that he ended up with at Oklahoma, Buki. So a couple of guys that Nebraska fans had thought were going to be here, but ended up at Oklahoma. And we all know that Nebraska and Oklahoma play each other here the next 2 years coming up. So that could be interesting. So TJ Pledger is a guy to keep your eye on here that could come in and give the Huskers some help right away. And then I know there's another at the wide receiver spot, another Oklahoma receiver that Nebraska's been in some contact with that, you might get a look at that, possibility that all of a sudden you grab a couple of Oklahoma guys and they're playing against their former team next season. So you never know.
Mr. Rambo's a good player. Caught 25 this past season, 42 the year before. We talked about him the other day, so check out that video. We really ran down the Oklahoma side of all this as well.